यहाँहरूको जानकारीको निमित्त अहिले यो ठिक हामीले 12 बजेदेखि कार्यक्रम सुरु गर्ने भनेका थियौँ। हामी करिब 5 मिनट ढिलो भइसकेका छौँ। हाम्रो यो प्रथम चरणको कार्यक्रम चाहिँ हाम्रो यो इन हाउस कम्पिटिसनको कार्यक्रम भएको हुनाले हाम्रो औपचारिक यो 18औं वार्षिक उत्सवको कार्यक्रम 1:30 बजे पछाडि औपचारिक रूपमा सुरु हुने भएको हुनाले अहिले आजको यस कार्यक्रमको सञ्चालिका एसिस्टेन्ट प्रोफेसर लक्ष्मी सापकोटाज्यूलाई म हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु र यो मायाको हस्तान्तरण गर्दछु। थ्याङ्क यू।
धन्यवाद। आजको 18औं वार्षिक उत्सव कार्यक्रममा यहाँहरू सबैलाई हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ र अघि सरले नै भनिसक्नु भएको छ, औपचारिक कार्यक्रम हामी पछाडि गर्नेछौँ र अहिले हामी डिबेट कम्पिटिसनमा जान लागिरहेको छौँ। डिबेट कम्पिटिसनको विषय रहेको छ नेपालको संविधान जुन 2072 सालमा जारी भएको थियो त्यसको धारा 76 स्वतन्त्र रूपमा आफै आउन सक्छ। जुन धारा 76 मा मन्त्रीमण्डलको गठनको व्यवस्था रहेको छ त्यो स्वतन्त्र रूपमा आउन सक्छ भनेर पक्षले बोल्नुहुनेछ र विपक्षले धारा 76 धारा 86 सँगै आउँछ भनेर विपक्षले बोल्नुहुनेछ। हाम्रो वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता अङ्ग्रेजीमा हुनेछ जसको टपिक यस प्रकार रहेको छ आर्टिकल 76 अफ कन्स्टिट्युसन अफ नेपाल which was promulgated in 2072 can come into force independently. The speaker for this debate competitions are विराट जोशी, सरिता कार्की, पुकार वाग्ले, सार्थक भण्डारी, वर्षा जीसी. Another team will speak on the topic Article 76 of Constitution of Nepal can operate only with Article 86 of Constitution of Nepal 2072. And the speaker or the debaters are Vishal Chaudhary, Raman Acharya, Sadina Gimire, Pukar Dahal, Padam Rawal. दोस्रो वर्षका विद्यार्थीहरूले अनिवार्य रूपमा लिनुपर्ने थियो। BA-LLB दोस्रो वर्षमा जम्मा 112 जना विद्यार्थी छन्। 112 जना विद्यार्थीमा चरणबद्ध क्रममा हामीले अन्तिम राउन्डमा 10 जना विद्यार्थी लिएका छौँ। 10 मिनेटमा जनाउ घन्टी बज्नेछ र अर्को 5 मिनेटमा उहाँहरूले आफ्नो डिबेट सकिसक्नु पर्नेछ। सेसन्सको जजेसहरूलाई अगाडि आएर बसिदिनु हुनको लागि हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। गइरहेको छ राष्ट्रिय गानमा उठिदिनु हुनको लागि हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु।
प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचल वीरहरूका राजधानी स्वतन्त्र अचल ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तराई पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहु जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् विशाल अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल।
So you can proceed forward. तपाईहरुले proceed गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. Yes, come.
The first speaker of this debate session, and I'm speaking for the motion saying Article 76 of our Constitution can come into action independently. Article 76 of our Constitution talks about the Constitution of Council of Ministers. It has become one of the most debatable issues in contemporary Nepalese politics, but we did not find anything such debatable here because no article of Constitution and no provision of anywhere states that it is mandatory to constitute National Assembly before the constitution of Council of Minister. Article 75 of our constitution states that the executive power is vested on the Council of Minister. And our country, Nepal, has become that country in the entire world politics that the constitution of that body which holds the executive power is delayed in order to constitute the House, the constitute National Assembly, which is not even the House of People Representative, which is just the House of intelligent, intellectual and experts, and most importantly, National Assembly has just the ceremonial role. So the constitution of Council of Minister delaying is delaying the country's political system, delaying the country's development, and most importantly, people are backed. According to Article 76, sub-article 1, 2, and 3, it is President who appoints the Prime Minister on the basis of the number of seats they got in the election of House of Representatives. And sub-article 4 of same Article 76 says that the appointed Prime Minister shall obtain vote of confidence from House of Representatives. Article 100 of our Constitution says that passing and tabling the vote of confidence and vote of no confidence is under the discretion of House of Representatives. Then, why National Assembly is being portrayed as obstacle in Constitution of Council of Minister, where the National Assembly has no role in appointing Prime Minister, no role in passing the vote of confidence and passing the vote of no confidence. It is actually National Assembly, or it is the delaying of result of House of Representative election by an election commission that has become truly the obstacle of Constitution of Council of Minister. The Article 2 of our Constitution says, the sovereignty and state authority shall be vested on people. Even the preamble starts saying, we the sovereign people of Nepal. And we believe that in democracy, there is people who is always supreme, and the people's mandate is always supreme. So what kind of democracy is being practiced in Nepal right now? What is done with our sovereignty where the people's mandate is not respected? People have already ordered this government to go and another government to come. People want new Prime Minister to be appointed, and the new Prime Minister will constitute the Council of Ministers, and the same government will constitute the National Assembly. And this government reacts, this government behaves like, I am already dead, but please let me breathe for some more moment. How is this possible? Our government says, this present caretaker government says, until and unless the Constitution of National Assembly, the Constitution of Council of Ministers is not possible. By this fallacious and illogical statement, this government has put a very big question mark on the autonomous status of House of Representatives, as well as this government has put a very big question mark on the legality of parliament of those countries which are practicing the unicameral legislative system. I want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, even in the interim period, we practiced unicameral legislative system, but even then, we had government, we had Council of Ministers. To sum up, I would like to say, the Article 76 in our Constitution has its independent existence. Thank you so much.
Honorable Chief Guest, panel of judges, and all the audience present over here. Introducing myself, my name is Sarita Karki, and I'm speaking for the motion. I will be dealing with 3 arguments to support my topic, and the first one is about women representation. Traditionally, Nepali women had limited role in political leadership. However, time and again, they had contributed a lot in order to bring political change in Nepal. In order to empower women, they have worked different types of law, like inclusion of women by 33% in federal parliament has been brought. In today's context, the main debate is about to conduct election of National Assembly. First, followed by House of Representatives, in order to ensure women representation by 33% in federal parliament. But Article 86, sub-article 2, has clearly stated that the representation of women by 33% in National Assembly is already secure. In order to prove this statement, here I will present certain data. That is, from every province, they have to send at least 3 women as a member. From 7 provinces, there will be 21, one followed by the recommendation of President, that is equal to 22, which means more than 33% representation of women in one of the houses is already secure. I repeat, more than 33% in one of the houses is already secure. Another explanation could be Article 86, sub-article 3 has clearly mentioned that the term of office of the members of National Assembly shall be of 6 years. The term of 1/3 members of National Assembly shall be expired every 2 years. Similarly, Article 86, sub-article 5 has stated that in any vacancy of seat of the members of National Assembly can be filled for the remainder of the term of the office in the same manner of elections or nomination of vacating seat was filled. When the seat is vacant, the position of women can also be replaced by men. Here, question arises to my fellow opponents. How can they ensure representation of women by 33% in National Assembly when such case arise? In order to prove a statement, here I like to present another data, that is 59 members is composed of National Assembly. Among them, 22 seats are already secured for women. Remaining 7 seats are secure for differently able people. 7 seats are secure for Dalit. Remaining 21 seats for male open competition. That means if the seat remain vacant, that can be replaced by men also after election. So the representation of women is likely to be questionable in upcoming future. My second argument is from the lenses of political jurisprudence. According to the recent data of election, only 3 women has won from first past the post-election category from CPN UML. It means they have to send 37 women in order to ensure women representation by 33% in federal parliament. But the context of Congress is even worse than that, because only limited women or only overall they have one limited seat. So in order to ensure women representation in National Assembly and maximize the seat of men in House of Representatives, they are trying to conduct election of National Assembly first in order to maximize women's seat in National Assembly than House of Representatives. But the representation of women in both houses is very much important. So they are interpreting that the House of Representatives and National Assembly should be conducted first in order to ensure women representation more in National Assembly. So that might create less representation in National House of Representatives, which is one of the important house and has to play a vital role and exist for 5 years. So that might create political, constitutional, and legal deadlock in upcoming future. My third argument is about too literal interpretation might create constitutional crisis. Constitution cannot always be interpreted from the formalistic approach, not only in the case of Nepal, but all the countries over the world. If 33% representation of women is interpreted as representation in both houses, then we have to say that while forming government, there has to be representation and involvement of both houses, which is not possible. Only House of Representatives, I repeat, only House of Representatives form government, which means that might create constitutional crisis if we interpret the constitutions without any legal formality. So in present context, we are having such kinds of problems. So while forming government, only House of Representatives play a vital role, but the National Assembly does not have anything to do with it. Thank you.
Honorable teachers, judges, and dignitaries, Namaskar. I am Virat Joshi, third speaker of this group. Now let's see what the Constitution says on the issue of formation of the government. Part 7, Federal Executive, Article 76, Constitution of Council of Ministers, Sub-Article 2 concludes that in case of no single party majority, President can appoint Prime Minister, whoever commands majority in the Parliament with the help of 2 or more than 2 parties. And let me remark that such appointed Prime Minister must not necessarily be the parliamentary party leader. Similarly, Sub-Article 9 concludes 3 general standards while forming Council of Ministers. First, the Council of Ministers must not exceed 25 members. Second, the Council of Ministers should be generally inclusive. Third, the Council of Ministers members must be members of the federal parliament, that is either of National Assembly or either of House of Representatives. These two sub-articles clear out two big confusion. First, there is no role of National Assembly in the appointment of Prime Minister. Second, there is no law that makes it compulsory the representation of the National Assembly in the Council of Ministers. And when there is no law clear, we generally tend to practice established practices. Let me rewind your memories 26 years back after the general elections of the 1991. Girija Prasad Koirala was first sworn as a Prime Minister, then only he was sworn as a member of House of Representatives. This clearly proves the fact that the appointment of Prime Minister is possible even before the constitution of House of Representatives. Well, in our case, it might superficially look that it is actually the election of the National Assembly that is stopping the formation of the House of Representatives and formation of the new government. But actually, it is the unpublished result of the Election Commission that is actually bearing the formation of the government. The Election Commission, who have a duty as per Article 246 to conduct the election, is actually interpreting the law. On what ground it is interpreting the law and determining the authority of President, Parliament and the Cabinet? Ladies and gentlemen, as per Article 296, sub-article 1, the status of this government is a caretaker government. Under what law, under what rule of law, under which norms of democracy that this caretaker government will appoint members in the National Assembly? The caretaker government is responsible to the dissolved parliament. Now, will it appoint members in the National Assembly? How much is it legal? Secondly, Article 76 is not only the article that is related to the formation of the government. Gentlemen, it is the article that actually represents the expression of the will of the people, and the self-rule, autonomy and self-right, sovereign right of the people are exercised as per this article. So this article does not need support of anybody for its formation, neither need it support the dependence on the Article 86. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Pukar Wagle and I am speaking for the motion. We've already heard many enlightening arguments that the National Assembly is not required to publish the result of House of Representatives. Neither a complete parliament is required to appoint Prime Minister at the moment and pave the way for the formation of government. For this, I would like to give you two instances of precedents that will support our propositions that the Article 26 of Constitution of Nepal can come into force independently. Firstly, in 2056 BS general election, after the leader of the party who got majority in the House of Representatives was appointed the Prime Minister in that time period. However, the Prime Minister designate was not administered, he had not administered the oath of office at that time period, and only after 3 weeks, Mr. K.P. Bhattarai had administered the oath of office. Similarly, Australia is a country which practices bicameral legislative parliament. There is one interesting fact that in 2013, September 7, Australia underwent general election. In that election, within a week, the result of House of Representatives was published. And what happened was, on 18th of September 2013, Tony Albert was appointed the Prime Minister of Australia along with the Ministry as well as the House of Representatives. However, at that time period, the Senate of the Australian Parliament had not been formed, and only on 5th April 2013, the election of Senate, that is the upper house of Australian Parliament, was held, and the Senate had a full configuration after that. This shows us that even though both the houses are the most integral part of the Parliament, in terms of, if we speak in terms of sovereignty, the House of Representatives comes above National Assembly. Similarly, National Assembly does not represent the mandate of people. It only represents, or it only reflects, diversity and inclusiveness. So the Election Commission is today trying to have control over the House of Representatives by putting the key of National Assembly, which is completely unconstitutional, which is completely against the directive principle of the Constitution of Nepal. So delaying the election results of House of Representatives is only is merely politically motivated action which holds no constitutional legitimacy. Therefore, Article 76 of Constitution of Nepal can independently come into force. We don't have to view Article 86 for its operation. Thank you very much.
Honorable Chief Guest, respected personalities, and my dear colleagues. Namaskar. My name is Vishal Chaudhary and I am here to speak against the motion. I have basically framed two major arguments. The first one is that we must comply with the fundamental principles of bicameralism. If we do not comply with the fundamental principles of bicameralism, then it would grant a golden chance to the international community, international regimes to raise an interrogation mark upon the federal governance system of Nepal. How and why, I'll tell you. But for this, we need to go for the etymological knowledge of federalism. The term federalism has been derived from the word foedus, which means a kind of treaty, an agreement, or a contract. Hence, etymological knowledge depicts that federalism occurs by two processes. Either a small, fragile, militarily incapable, and economically not so much productive state voluntarily decides to merge with the larger one, or a number of small, fragile, economically not so much productive, militarily not so much powerful states voluntarily reach to a consensus point of uniting for the purpose of collective security and common good. But the case of Nepal is totally different, ladies and gentlemen. Nepal is a nation having glorious history of over 3,500 years, has built up with the culture and civilization of integration rather than classification. And its unity and integrity are almost unbreakable. But despite a lot of controversies, we went into federalism. Our so-called experts, talented people, politicians took Nepal into federalism without analyzing the proper pros and cons, future impact, and proper consequences on economical viability, national integrity, national unity. Okay, fine, for their satisfaction, we went into federalism. But they must understand that formation of National Assembly is indispensable before and for the formation of Council of Ministers. Because the Council of Ministers which is going to get formed is not the executive of representatives, House of Representatives alone. Neither it is liable, accountable, responsible to House of Representatives only. Rather, the Council of Ministers which is going to get formed is the executive of both the houses of federal parliament, and the ministers of such council of ministers are liable, accountable, responsible for their task to both the houses of federal parliament. And this is something exactly stated in sub-articles 9 and 10 of Article 76 of Constitution of Nepal. Secondly, we cannot deny that those are the provinces and provincial legislatures which play a vital role in formation of National Assembly by sending their members. Hence, if National Council of Ministers or Cabinet is formed in ignorance of identity and existence of National Assembly, this will weaken the intimacy and relationship between its center and its provinces, and philosophically convey a kind of message that provinces are being ignored by center, which will further pose a threat to national unity, increase the chances and probabilities of rebels from the side of provinces, and then further create a kind of exclusion of provinces from the formation process of central cabinet. Hence, if we formed Council of Ministers without National Assembly, this will create a golden chance for international community to inflame the fire of disintegration. Secondly, my proposition is that if government is formed in absence of National Assembly, this will kill or assassinate the legitimacy of Constitution, because by making the pragmatic interpretation of sub-articles 9 and 10 of Article 76, the National Assembly should be formed first. It is clearly stated. And if we do not do so, this will kill the legitimacy of Constitution, spirit of inclusion and representation. And further, okay, fine, if we form National Assembly, if we form Council of Ministers first, and then immediately after getting formed, if Council of Ministers performs arbitrary official action, then will House of Representatives alone be able enough to challenge and justify the rowdyism of cabinet or not? Not at all. Similarly, Article 96 states that the Deputy Prime Minister, other ministers from cabinet, and central state ministers should participate in both the houses of federal parliament. Hence, formation of National Assembly should be prioritized first. Moreover, Article 110 and 111 clearly states that all the bills must be approved by both the houses, and both the houses have equally important role in making laws. So, imagination of recent tendencies of political parties to form Council of Ministers in absence of National Assembly is something like a tendency of a husband to procreate a baby in absence of his wife. Hence, I would like to conclude here. Rest of the arguments will be forwarded by my colleague. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Raman Acharya, the second speaker against the motion. We, the sovereign people of Nepal, as mentioned in the very first sentence of the preamble of the Constitution of Nepal. The Constitution is an outcome of aspiration of sovereign people. It is not based on what our political parties demand. It is based on what we, the sovereign people, want. The major premise in this debate is beyond the formation of National Assembly. It is in fact between the liberation of people's sovereignty and the restriction of political decisions of the political parties. And hence, my major argument will be on the legitimacy that stands advancing between justice of laws and its validity. Lots of legality was talked by my former colleagues, but what about the legitimacy? In the very popular case of Civil Service Union versus Council of Ministers 1999, Lord John Laws. Laws came with the concept of good administration to justify the protection of legitimate expectations. The doctrine of legitimate expectations is based on the natural justice, equality, and fairness. Similarly, another maxim called rule according to higher laws, according to which the government cannot impose any kind of laws which are against universal practice, fairness, and equality. A famous philosopher Immanuel Kant, in his German doctrine called Rechtsstaat, says that the power of the state should be limited so that people can enjoy their rights, and the authority cannot impose any kind of arbitrary power. So juxtapositioning legitimacy and legality, it is always, I mean always, the legitimacy that comes before legality and provide the basis for legality. Historically speaking, either that be 12th table of Roman laws or the time of medieval era where there were a clash between king and popes, or be the time of Magna Carta 1215, or in the Eastern practice of Manu's Danda Vidhan or Kautilya's statecraft. The validity of laws has been always derived from its legitimacy. And at the very context, there is no legitimacy behind isolating National Assembly. As mentioned in House of Representative Election Act 2017, Section 60, says that Federal Parliament means both National Assembly and House of Representatives as formed by Article 86 and Article 84 respectively of Constitution of Nepal. Further, the Constitution of Nepal, Article 88 says that all the federal members should take an oath before taking summon in the meeting as per by the law. And the final note, what I want to make here is, if the legal system is legitimate, then the legality seems to be the best safeguarding principle of legitimate constitutional government. If it fails, I'm afraid to say that the constitution, the spirit of constitution dies. Leading the state into chaos and anarchy, and the constitution will be rephrased as foul play of political parties. Further, the 79 countries where the bicameral system is practiced, National Assembly plays a very instrumental role for forming government and administrative system. The role of National Assembly in our country at the present context has been seriously undermined. The sub-article 2 of Article 97 of Constitution of Nepal says both the houses shall form a committee to discuss any complex bill as proposed by government. And in the condition where there is only House of Representatives and the complex bill has been proposed and House of Representatives passes it without the confirmation of National Assembly, the consequences can be disastrous. And the only thing we can do is regret. So better let's form a National Assembly so that the Joint Committee will have lots of experts in the panel to discuss about the bill. And further, citing one of the famous Latin maxims called ex equito et bono, meaning for right and good, equity and conscience. There is no deniable that House of Representatives, the National Assembly should be formed parallel to the House of Representatives, either that be ethically, practically, genuinely, commonly, conscientiously, and more important, constitutionally. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sadina Ghimire, and I'm going to speak in the favor of formation of National Assembly. And to prove this, I have framed my three major arguments. And my first argument is to operate Article 76 of the Constitution, Article 86 must come into force. According to Article 76, sub-Article 9, the President shall, on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, constitute the Council of Ministers comprising a maximum of 25 members, including prime ministers, in accordance with the principle of inclusion from amongst the members of the federal parliament. And also, according to sub-article 10 of Article 76, the prime minister and the ministers shall be collectively be responsible to the federal parliament, and the ministers shall be individually be responsible for the work of their respective ministries to the federal parliament and the prime minister. Also, according to Article 83 of our constitutions, federal parliament means a federal legislature which consists of two houses to be known as House of Representatives and the National Assembly. And yes, for the formation of House of Representatives or Council of Ministers, there must be the formation of National Assembly. And it has been mentioned in our constitution, and we just cannot deny it. Since federal parliament consists of two houses, House of Representatives and National Assembly. And in absence of National Assembly, the federal parliament cannot function well, and hence after, the House of Representatives cannot function. And my second argument is formation of government according to the constitution of our country. According to Article 84, sub-Article 8, at least 1/3 of the total number of members elected from each political party representing in the federal parliament must be women. If women are not so elected as to form 1/3 of the total members of any political party under subclause A of clause 1 and under subclause A of clause 2 of Article 86, such political party must in electing members under subclause B of clause 1 so elect that women members constitute at least 1/3 of the total number of members elected to the federal parliament from that party. So from this, we can say that Article 83 cannot come into force until and unless Article 86 comes into force, and for Article 76 to come into force, both Article 86 and 83 must come into force, meaning Article 83 represents to the federal parliament consisting House of Representatives and National Assembly, whereas Article 86 means National Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, National Assembly. And my third argument is women, Dalits, and physically challenged person representation in the formation of government according to the Constitution. Article 38, sub-Article 4 mentions about the rights of women to participate in all levels of the state bodies. Similarly, Article 40, sub-Article 1 mentions about the rights of Dalits to participate in all bodies of the state based on the principle of proportional inclusion. And let's not forget about Article 42, sub-Article 1, which mentions about the rights of physically challenged persons to represent themselves in all the states of the bodies. Now, discarding the conspiracy theory of feminism and the spirit of Constitution, Cabinet cannot be formed until and unless National Assembly is formed. Since Article 38 guarantees the rights of women for inclusion in every official, political, and national organs of the country, there needs to be the representation of women in cabinet as well. But if we go to form cabinet first before the National Assembly, then there won't be satisfactory representation of male and female in the cabinet in an equal proportion. Since only 6 females have been elected in the House of Representatives, and the parties are also trying to elect male members through proportional representation first and in maximum number. And after that, if government is formed first before the National Assembly, then it will comprise very less female, and 33% of representation of female in the cabinet would be in the form of formality by transferring those female in the National Assembly, which would get formed later. So is the case of Dalits, minorities, and physically challenged persons whose rights to inclusion and social justice in mainstream of nation have been ensured in Article 40, Sub-Article 1 and Article 42, Sub-Article 1. And this would get violated when Cabinet would get formed first before the National Assembly, since Cabinet won't be able to represent all those people. So ladies and gentlemen, let's admit that until and unless National Assembly of the country is formed, there cannot be the formation of House of Representatives or Council of Ministers. Lastly, I would like to say that for the formation of Article 76 of the country, there must be the formation of Article 86 in the country. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pukar Dahal, and I'll be speaking on the issue that the formation of National Assembly is required for the formation of government. One of the burning issues of contemporary Nepalese politics is that whether or not the government can be formed before the formation of National Assembly. And because of this issue, the whole nation has been divided into two schools of thoughts. But if we look into the spirit of Constitution of Nepal, then we can clearly say that the formation of government before the formation of National Assembly is completely immoral, unnatural, and unconstitutional. And I have four major arguments to prove this statement. The first argument is that Sub-Article 9, Article 76 of Constitution of Nepal clearly says that the Council of Ministers should be inclusive from Federal Parliament. I repeat, Federal Parliament, which means the 25 ministers of our country should be inclusive from both the houses. That is the House of Representatives as well as the National Assembly. Therefore, the members of National Assembly also have the constitutional rights to become the minister of this country. And if we form the government before the formation of National Assembly, then that constitutional rights of those members of National Assembly gets completely violated. And I would like to ask to my fellow opponents, is it justifiable to violate the right of one member of parliament for the benefit of another member of parliament? Let's think about it. My second argument is that in the country like Nepal having parliamentary form of government, it is the parliament who elects the executive head of the country. It is the parliament who elects the prime minister of the country. But if we look into the present scenario, the parliament of Nepal got dissolved in 18th August 2074 and is now waiting for the fresh mandate. And after those fresh mandate will come, they will participate in giving vote of confidence to the prime minister. But the thing is that the dissolved parliament should be established in order to begin the session of parliament. And according to the principle of check and balance, it is the president who summons the first meeting of the session of parliament. So Article 93 sub-article 1 clearly mentions that the president shall summon a federal parliament within 30 days after the result of election of House of Representatives is published. The president summons a federal parliament, which means the president cannot come and summon the House of Representatives alone. Therefore, after the summoning of parliament, the process of giving the vote of confidence to the prime minister begins. Hence, it is required to form both the House of Representatives as well as the National Assembly for the formation of government. My third argument is that if we look into the international scenario, according to the data given by Inter-Parliamentary Union, excluding Nepal, there are 79 countries in this world having bicameral legislature. And in each and every of those countries, the government is formed only after the formation of both the houses, that is the upper house and the lower house. So if we are thinking of formation of government before the formation of National Assembly, then therefore it is highly contradictory to the international practices as well. My fourth argument is that according to the principle of federalism, the local level is formed in the first phase, provincial level in the second phase, federal parliament in the third phase, and then the government. So this bottom-to-up approach gets completely violated if we try to form the government before the formation of National Assembly. So if we form the government before the formation of the upper house, then it is highly contradictory to the principle of federalism as well. Lastly, I conclude by saying that we are just in the beginning phase of the implementation of our constitution. Therefore, we must try to look into the spirit of our constitution and try to apply the pragmatic approach of interpretation of law. The common principles of bicameralism, the common principles of federalism, as well as the various international practices clearly says that it is required to form both the houses before the formation of government. The formation of National Assembly is required to ensure the participation of women, the marginalized group of people, and other differently abled group of people in the decision-making sector of our country. The question of legitimacy versus legality arises if we try to use the formalist approach of interpretation of law rather than using the pragmatic approach of interpretation of law. Furthermore, the formation of government before the formation of National Assembly is completely against the spirit and principle of Constitution of Nepal. Therefore, it is immoral, unnatural, unconstitutional, unethical and impractical to form the government before the formation of National Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, my fellow opponents. Now I am here for the rebuttal. Let me explain the philosophy of the establishment of the upper house. To check generally the brutal majority in the lower house, the upper house is generally considered of the advisory council. Our opponents have fallaciously interpreted the Article 76(9) of the Constitution. It means that the member of Council of Ministers must be member of Federal Parliament. I would like to explain it in respect to the Article 78, which says that even those persons who are not the member of Federal Parliament can be member of Council of Ministers, but they have to be members of the Federal Parliament within 6 months. Does it mean they must necessarily be the member of National Assembly? No. It means they must either be the member of National Assembly or they must be the member of House of Representatives. So like I explained earlier, there is no law that bars the formation of the Council of Ministers, just saying that there must be the compulsory representation of the National Assembly in the Council of Ministers. There can be the representation of National Assembly in Council of Ministers, but there is not, that shall not be necessarily. Next is Article 86(2). The Constitution already guarantees the 1/3 representation of the women in the Parliament, Federal Parliament. At the same time, the Article 86(2) has clearly reserved the 1/3 representation of the women in the National Assembly. Now it is only the issue of House of Representatives it is the issue of representatives of the women in the House of Representatives. If they are in a combined form sent, then it is high possibility that the women are all deposited at the passive body of the National Assembly, and while the active main members are put in the active body of the House of Representatives. Second, my opponents have focused on the summon of the meeting of the combined meeting of the Federal Parliament, but I have already stated that there is already a provision that established practice that Girija Prasad Koirala was first sworn as a Prime Minister, then only he was sworn as a member of House of Representatives. This proves that even before the formation and the constitution of Federal Parliament, the appointment of the Prime Minister is possible. Now I would like to move toward the different point. Ladies and gentlemen, after the news, since there is no government and no parliament, there is no formation of the local governance rule, due to which the local levels have not been able to exercise their power freely. There is huge deficiency of medicine in the Eastern Hills and the Eastern Tarai. Similarly, there is confusion on the formation of the rules and regulation regarding the educational rights of the local governance act. My friends were talking about the legitimacy. Is it the legitimacy that insults the mandate of the people? And I would like to state that it is the House of Representatives that represents the will of the people, not the National Assembly. National Assembly is just an elderly council, council compromising of the expert, that my opponents have already said. It is the House of Representatives, and probably that is why it is the House of Representatives that can elect the Prime Minister and remove the Prime Minister from the post. And if we are again moving like that, then we cannot reach a conclusion. It is a constitutional and administrative law principles have established that only those laws are interpreted for solving the puzzle, not for creation of the constitutional deadlock. The way that our friends have interpreted have clearly distanced the formation of government by 2 or more than 2 months. I would like to question them. For the sake of completion of the procedure, why should an innocent citizen pay with his life? Is it not the violation of the fundamental rights to rights of the life and rights to the education? The formation of a stable government is the urgent need of country and the fresh mandate of the people. So the issue of National Assembly shall not be come here while before the forming of the government. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm here one more time for Sir rebuttal. There were a lot of pragmatical approach as quoted by my opponents, but Time and again, it has been cited the case of 2048, but let's not forget what happened in that session. At that session, the 33% of reservation for women was not allocated in the Constitution of Kingdom of Nepal 2047. Further, Article 115 of that very constitution vested the emergency power to the king, and when the president, when the prime minister resigned, the Krishna Prasad Bhattarai, the session was summoned under King Birendra Bir Vikram Sahadev. Now, my second argument is sub-article 1 of Article 101 has the provision to impeachment the head of the state, who is the titular executive of state. What if the head of the state performs arbitrary actions and has to be immediately removed? The impeachment requires both of the houses of parliament to pass the impeachment, but it cannot be done in the absence of National Assembly. Further, Article 297 of Constitution of Nepal says the important treaties proposed by the government that should be ratified by both the houses. Hence, this shows federal parliament would get complete only when both the houses are formed. And further, Article 38 of sub-article 4 mentions that the participation of women in politics. Similarly, Article 40 sub-article 1 mentions about the right to Dalit to participate in all the bodies of state on the basis of the principle of proportionate inclusion. And the inclusivity has been clearly mentioned in 5th paragraph of preamble of Constitution of Nepal. And under the principle of federalism and bicameralism, both National Assembly and House of Representatives are necessary, and we live in a country, Nepal, where we do not follow Australian constitution, we follow Nepalese constitution. Further, the day might come when the spirit of constitution dies. The day might come when the legitimacy of laws are over with political interest. The day might come when the bicameral house, in the bicameral house, only the House of Representatives is formed, but that day is not today. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद। बिए एलएलबी दोस्रो वर्षका विद्यार्थीहरूले डिबेट कम्पिटिसनमा भाग लिएर जानुभएको छ। अहिले हामी अनौपचारिक कार्यक्रममै रहेका छौँ। अनौपचारिक कार्यक्रमको दोस्रो चरणमा आइपुगेका छौँ। बिए एलएलबी प्रथम वर्षमा 153 जना विद्यार्थी हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरूले अनिवार्य रूपमा स्पिच कम्पिटिसनमा भाग लिनुपर्छ र उहाँहरूले स्पिच कम्पिटिसनबाट भाग लिएर 6 जना विद्यार्थी छानिनु भएको छ। 6 जना विद्यार्थीहरूलाई आफूलाई दिएको रोलमा उहाँहरूले स्पिच कम्पिटिसनमा भाग लिनुहुनेछ। उहाँहरूलाई अगाडि आइदिनु हुनको लागि हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। उहाँहरू हुनुहुन्छ सविता हेजु एज प्रेसिडेन्ट, सञ्जय गोले एज प्राइम मिनिस्टर, विनोद खत्री एज चिफ मिनिस्टर अफ प्रोभिन्स 3, प्रकृति खनाल अपोजिसन लिडर, आर्यमा उप्रेती फरेन मिनिस्टर, शिखा झा स्पिकर। Ms. Savita Haju is speaking as a president, and her topic is the implementation of constitution by election of state government will ensure devolution of power and inclusive democracy. Thank you.
My dear people, wow. Yes, this is a blessing. This is surely a blessing to have such beautiful and wonderful people over here. I am proud of myself, not because I'm standing over here, but because I have people like you who love me and trust me so much. Woven from hundreds of flowers, we are one garland. That's Nepali, spread sovereign from Mechi to Mahakali. And I am proud to be a flower of this garland. And now that this garland is a federal state, yes, I see lots of expectations that you people have. But hold on, hold on, my dear people, expectations are yet to be fulfilled. So the term devolution of power, it is a beauty of being a federal state. The Constitution has made an arrangement of the decentralization of power to the local bodies, including the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Constitution provides 22 exclusive powers to the local bodies. The local development ministers hold 37 powers of the words, and 15 different powers have been shared between the center and the provinces. And this is the devolution of power. Along with this, as the government is formally transforming 3,334 local bodies into 744 local units under the newly adopted federal system, people from far-flung villages can now get access to various services and facilities from the local units themselves. And I'll make sure that this brings development and right of the people at their doorsteps. I know, and I am sure this sprouts smiles on the faces of my people. And those beautiful smiles makes me happy, very happy. And to maintain the smile, the Constitution ensures the civil, political, economic, social, and the cultural rights, including the right to development conforming to the international standards. And with this balance and the holistic development, my dear people, you deserve to be happy. So it is also so true that the inclusive democracy, it is a mechanism, a very strong mechanism where women not only have the right to vote and not only have the right to elect, but also have the right to be elected. And we are well informed and we well know that 2 of the 4 posts of the wards were reserved for the women, 1 for the marginalized communities and 1 for the Dalit candidates. And this is the beauty of inclusive democracy. Similarly, the elections that we had, it ensured about the equitable and the proportionate and the compulsory representation of the Dalits and the different communities and women and the indigenous people. And this is the charm of inclusive democracy. And that's the reason the implementation of the Constitution by the election of the state government obviously ensures about the devolution of power and the inclusive democracy. So, for what will good be progress if its benefit do not trigger the poorest of the poor? So let us bear in our mind and keep in our heart that the test of the good government is not whether we can add more to the abundance of those who have much, but whether we can provide for those who have little. And I don't care if I burn in hell as long as the people I serve live in paradise. So why don't we close our eyes for a few minutes and just recall and remind the golden heritage of Nepal and feel proud to be a part of Nepal. Just remember that a single flower can make a difference in a garland. And together it can obviously make a change. And me, being the president of Nepal, I take the oath that I will surely, sincerely, and faithfully execute the office of the president of Nepal and do my best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Nepal. Thank you so much for being over here and accepting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Savita. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Sanjay Gole in the role of Prime Minister, and his topic is the polarization will bring political stability and stable government and promote economic development.
Namaste, Honorable President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. From the very start, Nepal suffered from political instability and unstable government due to involvement of many parties in Nepalese politics. Yet, we were able to make constitution in order to achieve political stability, the Constitution developed the concept of threshold. This resulted in polarization, and many parties were compelled to form alliances. And yes, we can clearly see the two alliances, the left alliances and the democratic alliances. After the election, CPN-UML, CPN Maoist Center, Nepali Congress, Federal Socialist Forum Nepal, and Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal were able to cross the threshold of 3% and have been declared as the national parties of Nepal. This declaration of national parties have given us the rays of hopes for political stability, and the clear majority of the left alliance has given us a stable government. Ladies and gentlemen, as of today, I'm standing in front of you all as your Prime Minister. With political stability and stable government, the time has come to move to our next step. Our next step is to promote economic development, which ensures the betterment for the people of Nepal and for the nation. To promote economic development, I have plans, and with no hurdles in the way, I could clearly see that we can fulfill these plans. To start with my plans, my first priority is to end corruption. According to Corruption Percent Index 2016, published by Transparency International, Nepal ranked as the third most corrupt country in South Asia. We need to fight against corruption, and only then we can promote economic development. Second, education. The literacy rate of Nepal is 65.9%, and I believe that we can increase this rate up to 100%. We need to establish schools in every villages, but only by establishing schools will not be enough. We should ensure to provide quality educations as well. Third, transportation. The apples grown in the trees of the Himalayas and the rice cultivated in the plains of Tarai can be accessed easily by every people of Nepal with the help of transportation. Without transportation, no goods and services can be transported from one place to another. Fourth, hydropower. Hydropower, as I see, is the backbone of economic development of Nepal. Nepal has the capacity to generate huge amounts of electricity, and by building good relationships with the countries like China, India, and Bangladesh, we can sell electricity to those countries, and by this we can earn billions of dollars, and that money can be utilized for the constructions of schools and transportations. Also, we can utilize the electricity to run factories and industries of Nepal. More and more factories and industries can be established, creating plenty of employment opportunities. As a result, the people of Nepal would no longer have to suffer from unemployment. These are my major plans to promote economic development, but this does not mean I will ignore the other economic factors. Therefore, to conclude, these plans would have been just a mere dream, but with political stability and stable government, these plans can be turned into reality. We need to uplift the economy of Nepal. We need to make Nepal a better place, and this is only possible if I have the support of you people. So let's join hands and work together in the path to develop Nepal. Thank you. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद। हामी अहिले पनि अनौपचारिक कार्यक्रममै रहेका छौं, तर हामी माझ हाम्रा प्रमुख अतिथि माननीय संविधान सभा पूर्व अध्यक्ष माननीय सुभाष चन्द्र नेमाङज्यू आइसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँलाई स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। हाम्रो अहिले हामी बीए एलएलबी प्रथम वर्षका विद्यार्थीहरूले स्पीच कम्पिटिसन गरिरहनु भएको छ। उहाँहरूले विभिन्न चरणमा आफ्ना प्रतियोगितामा छानिएर आउनुभएका 6 जना विद्यार्थी हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँहरूलाई विभिन्न रोल दिएको छ, त्यो रोलमा उहाँहरूले बोल्नुहुनेछ। अब तेस्रो प्रतियोगी हुनुहुन्छ आर्यमा उप्रेती एज फरेन मिनिस्टर, and her topic is Nepal voted against American declaration stay as capital of Jerusalem and made a good decision.
Honorable President, respected Prime Minister, Chief Minister, Opposition Leader, Speaker of the House, and my dear citizens. Today, I will be highlighting our recent decision where Nepal voted against American Declaration Stay as a capital of Jerusalem. I would like to begin by briefing a quick history of Jerusalem. Jerusalem city status had been designated by United Nations in 1948 Israel-Arabic War. Before that, in 1947, United Nations had designated Jerusalem as a special international zone. Later, Israel conquered Jerusalem and marked Jerusalem as its capital. The history, in this response, United Nations passed the resolution declaring Israel law null and void. It states that the illegal annexation of Israel, the illegal annexation of Jerusalem had violated several principles of international law, which outlines that the status of Jerusalem cannot be declared. So the history clearly shows that the status of Jerusalem had long been declared as an sensitive topic and one of the core issues which violated several principles of international law. In this context, I will now articulate 3 major arguments highlighting our government stood against American declaration. And I believe the opposition will agree, as these are the legitimate argument based on the international legal standard. First, our government decision was based on the principle of international law and Security Council resolution. We believe that declaring Jerusalem as a capital of Israel unilaterally by America is a clear violation of international law and United Nations Security Council. Jerusalem had long been declared by United Nations as an occupied territory. No country have the right to decide in the sovereign nation, that also unilaterally or in an isolated way. Such an act is against the international law when Security Council had called on state to refrain from establishing diplomatic mission in Jerusalem. We therefore disagree America's decision unilaterally in supporting Jerusalem and violating the principle of international law. America's decision would overturn 70+ years of international consensus and would effectively impair the peace talk between Israel and Palestine. Second, our government believes that Jerusalem, being an occupied territory or a final state resolution concerns about sovereignty issue and has to be resolved by 2 conflicting nations. Nepal is aware that UN has declared Jerusalem as an occupied territory. We are aware of the fact that Jerusalem being one of the pivotal issue where diplomatic and the peacemakers have continually said that it must be agreed by 2 nations. So we do not support the America's declaration that violates the principle of international law. Lastly, promoting peace is an essence of United Nations. And that's why our government stood upholding the purpose of United Nations. Peace agreement helps to reduce the Israel conflict. Nepal, from the political history, from bringing Maoist to in the nation to develop nation, has been one of the very strong example that highlights the importance and effectiveness of peace process. So, the basic role of members of United Nations is to promote peace and integrity by supporting the international principles. Nepal, though is a powerful nation and contributes a substantial amount to UN fund, does not mean that she can put herself as a supreme body. All the nations are bound to follow the principle of international law and support Israel conflict to resolve its issue. Therefore, at last, our government believes that final state resolution of Jerusalem has to be resolved by 2 conflicting nations, and other nations should refrain from interfering in the matter of sovereignty. Thank you and namaste.
Now, another speaker is Ms. Prakriti Khanal. She is in the role of opposition leader, and her topic is Nepal voted against American declaration stay as capital of Jerusalem and made a mistake. Thank you.
Honorable President, respected Prime Minister, ministers, the Speaker of the House, and my beloved citizens. Today, I stand here, but right now, I'm not standing here just for the sake of standing and speaking. I stand here to take a stand. I stand here for peace. And when we talk about peace, the another thing that comes as tail with peace is conflict. Yes, peace and conflict come together, and that is why United Nations was established, to establish peace and harmony among the nations in the world. We live in a world, and we are deteriorating the world, no matter what country we are from, or no matter we are an Israeli, no matter we are a Palestinian, or no matter we are the people of Jerusalem. We sometimes tend to forget that there might be a lot of countries in the world, but the world, there is only one. And if the countries are fighting, any countries are fighting in any of the sides, it's affecting not only the country itself, but the world in a whole. Today, I stand here, and I stand here to take the stand that the American declaration stay as the capital of Jerusalem, and we voted against it. Why? Why did it matter so much to us? Why did voting matter so much to us? When we do not need to concern ourselves with the conflict that is going on between Israel and Palestine on the name of the Holy Land of Jerusalem. Why was voting so much important when 35 other countries, including Bhutan, did not pay any kind of participation in the voting process? Why was it so much important to us to vote? Why was it so much important to us to vote against Israel? Why was it so much important to us to go against American Declaration Act? Why was it so much important to us to go against Trump's decision? What? We want to prove the people in the world that we stand for what is right? We want to prove to the world that we stand for harmony? We, Nepal, is a peace-loving country. We Nepalis are known for peace lovers. And if this is what peace lovers do, my friend, then I am sorry to say this, but I question your decision. If we stand for peace, we would not be hindering in the so-called development of Israel and Palestine and Jerusalem, and we will let them consult in each other, and we would not take part in the voting process. Why? Because we do not want to be friends or enemies with any other countries of the world. We have stayed sovereign, we have stayed proud, we have stayed happy, we have stayed independent, and we want to stay that. Why would we want to vote against some other country in favor of some other country when we have all the rights to stay immune from it? Why do we want to cast that vote? And the another major question is that the leader of the Nepali Congress, Visheshwar Prasad Koirala, is the one who signed the declaration of the good relation of Israel and Nepal. So I would like to question my foreign minister, had he signed the treaty, had he signed the agreement, and had we been supporting his decisions, then why did the Nepali Congress leader go against the decision and vote it? We Nepali say proud that we Nepali are very proud that we call ourselves very proud by calling ourselves Nepali, and we say that political influences by India is not acting in our country. But my friends, I cannot see any reason as to why the vote was casted other than we supporting Indian ourselves. So, though my speech might have come to an end, the war between the Palestine and Israel in the name of the Holy Land of Jerusalem is nowhere near to it. So my friends, I guess this is time. It's time to take a firm stand. It's time to make a bold statement. It's time to make people know that Nepal stands for peace, not for war. It's time to stand for what is right. It's time to stop thinking, and it's time to start acting. Because we might be proud Nepali, or a proud American, or a proud Israeli, or a proud Palestinian, but above that, we are humans. And it's time to show the world that we stand for humanity and humankind more than anything, because that is what matters to us. That is what matters to Nepal. Peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakriti. Now, another speaker is Ms. Sikha Jha. She is speaking as the speaker, and her topic is Road and Belt Initiative or Belt and Road Initiative will provide impetus for economic development and economic growth in Nepal.
Growth, a transformational process. And once the process is underway, results are endless. Growth, a media providing us with both incentive and means to bring out the best version of oneself. Growth, a wholesome aspect to bring out a positive change. And comes economic growth, a kind of growth beholding varied importance, a single agenda spacing from the center to circumference. Economic growth, the very first and indeed the very last expectation of each nation. Economic growth, the crucial need of my nation. Greetings and regards to Honorable President, Admirable Prime Minister, and our esteemed ministers and leaders. I, Speaker of the House today, would like to address on the issue, the initiative helping Nepal to foster its economy rapidly. Nepal, a country beholding strong potentials, a country known to the world for its rich natural resources, a country strong at three prominent sectors: agriculture, tourism, and hydropower. But yet, Nepal, the very same country, not able to reap off its potential and grab the opportunities, the very same country facing arduous challenges. Nepal, the very same country, yet to be transformed from a least developed to a developed and ultimately to the most developed country. And for that transformation comes forth Belt and Road Initiative, a stepping stone to create milestone of progress, a stepping stone to change the economic landscape of the country, a huge opportunity to build a new legacy and create a modern success story of connectivity, success story of development, of mobility, and for sure of shared prosperity. To be peculiar about this initiative, Belt and Road Initiative is an initiative given forward by China with an investment of around $5 trillion across 65 countries around the globe, with the sole aim of creating network through land and sea across Eurasia. In addition, it's an overarching goal of China to create networking through railways, roadways, and ports between Asia, Africa, and Europe. It's a new framework of international economic cooperation and global connectivity. And yes, this new framework of economic cooperation and global connectivity is what brings forth chances for Nepal to reap off its potential and grab the opportunities. Even World Bank estimates that to adequately develop its connectivity through strategic and local roads, we require a minimum investment of 2.3 to 3.5% of our gross domestic product annually. Hereby comes the need of Belt and Road Initiative as a helping hand, as a pushing factor to stand on those necessities. It allows Nepal to march towards its developmental aspirations. This provides us remarkable opportunities in tourism sector, since even if a small fraction of people around those 65 countries, if they get a chance to visit Nepal, if they get a chance to have a maleficent and magnificent taste of our nature, then for sure it would be a milestone of achievement in our country's national economy. In addition, connectivity via China, Central Asia, and Europe would provide global market access to Nepali manufactured goods, to Nepali manufactured products. For instance, we behold the possibility and technical feasibility of generating 42,000 megawatt of electricity from various rivers of Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, 42,000 megawatt of electricity. And with an export to so generated electricity, we can uplift our economic condition and have that rapid economic growth. Even Investment Board of Nepal concludes that if this initiative turns out into a tangible outcome, then for sure, funds and employment opportunities will definitely increase. But in addition, hospitality and aviation sector would also restore its dilapidated infrastructure, restore its dilapidated industries. This Belt and Road Initiative does not only limits Nepal up to a landlocked country. Instead, It transforms Nepal from a landlocked country to a land-linked country. Be growth in foreign aid investment or development through infrastructures, be upliftment in transportation sector or be growth in tourism sector, Belt and Road Initiative, a single initiative, but ahead are many opportunities. That is why, with a strong faith in heart, we can say that this Belt and Road Initiative will provide us a strong impetus, a strong stimulus to have that rapid economic growth. Since economic growth is indeed the very crucial need of your, mine, and our mother Nepal. Thank you everyone. Immense pleasure being here.
Thank you, Sikha. Now, another speaker for the speech competition is Mr. Binod Khatri. He is in the role of Chief Minister of Province 3, and his topic is Next 5 years will be for stability and transformation of the socio-economic life of the people in province number 3. Thank you.
Honorable President, Prime Minister, Speaker of Parliament, Leader of Opposition Party, Foreign Minister, and everyone present here. This is me, Binod Khatri, and it's my pleasure to stand in front of you as a Chief Minister of Province number 3. Today, I'm here to deliver my 5-year plan of action that is to maintain stability and for socio-economic transformation of my province and life of people of my province. As we are entering into federalism for the first time, so all of us know there are lots and lots of challenges lying in front of us. But as it is said, where there lies a challenge, there lies an opportunity. So within 5 years, I will try my level best to convert those challenges into an opportunity. No matter what problems are there, what challenges we have to face. But if we want, then we can. Yes, we can. As Donald Trump says, no dream is too big, no challenge is too great. Nothing we want in our future is beyond our reach. So again, I believe, if we want, then we can. Yes, we can. So for 5 years, my main focus will be for stability and socio-economic transformation. For that, I have already set up a destination to reach, and I am ready to start my journey to reach there. But as it is said, only one hand does not make a clap. So I urge all my citizens of my province to join hand in hand with me from their respective position so that we can work together to reach that destination. Talking about the socio-cultural composition of my province, we have many caste and cultural groups like Brahmin, Setri, Tamang, Gurung, Mogar, Newa, Chepang, Tharu, and so on. They have their own culture, tradition, rites, ritual, function, festival, religion, and they have their own way of life. But sadly to say, still there are evil practices and customs like untouchability, superstition, higher caste, lower caste, and so on. So within 5 years, I will try to eradicate those problems, and I will try to establish my province as a province of unity, happiness, and harmony among the people. I will try to make my province an exemplary province of my country. I have that dream. So if I want, then if we want, then we can change and we can make it. I have that dream to make my province an equal and equitable province where each and every people will be standing in an equal footing despite of their religion, caste, gender, and so on. Now talking about economic transformation of our province, let me present some of the facts. We have 38 hydropower projects in our province, out of which some are under construction. We have 979 registered industries. Out of 12 industrial states of our nation, our province have 4 industrial states. Our province also have got huge deposition of minerals, metallic, non-metallic, and radioactive minerals like iron, zinc, copper, lead, silver, thorium, radium, ceramics, zinc, and so on. Just for an instance, in a research, it is found that Kathmandu Valley only has deposition of methane gas, which is enough to produce gas to 27,000 families for 30 years to come. So why not? Why don't we explore them? So if we can explore them and utilize them properly, then obviously we can transform our province economically as well. Talking more, our province have huge possibility of tourism investment and tourism development. We have 8 World Heritage Sites out of 10 World Heritage Sites in our province. Not only that, we have mountains like Langtang and Gandesimal together with the trekking routes. We have rivers like Tamakosi, Votekosi, Trisuli, through which we can promote huge number of internal and external tourism so that we can transform our province economy as well. Not only that, our province also have huge possibility of agricultural development. If we can invest in agriculture, our province have suitable condition, climatic condition to invest and to cultivate fruits, vegetables and crops like paddy, millet, barley, wheat, mustards and so on. So if we can cultivate and if we can invest on agricultural sector, then obviously we can transform our province. To maintain the stability, I will join hand in hand with each and every people's representative of my province, no matter which political party and which political ideology they carry. For 5 years, we will have only one ideology, that is ideology of peace, progress and development. So I have that dream. Within 5 years, I will make my province a province of an agricultural destination, tourism destination, industrial destination and cultural destination. So again, let's join hand in hand, no matter which party, political party and ideology we belong to. Let's give this time for stability and for transformation of our province. So in this way, if we can transform our province, if we can transform each and every province, then obviously we can transform our nation socially, culturally and economically as well. So please, I urge my citizens to join hand in hand for the upcoming days so that we can transform our nation as a whole and we can develop our nation, a better nation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hereby we are in the end of the informal program. You can go. Thank you.